come? By hearing. And hearing what? The words of Christ. Like thank God for the home. The home, like I represent, I'm a, how can I put this? I'm a teacher, a teaching priest, able to teach the words of God. I'm in Christ. I got the Spirit of Christ. Guess what's coming out of me? Guess what's coming to you right now?
Word of God explains.
Faith is coming. Faith is coming. God said, ministering faith. You're growing in grace. Faith is a dynamic of grace. We're growing in grace. Faith is coming to you. Now you're increasing. God's increasing you. You're hearing. Faith come by hearing, consequently hearing by the words of Christ. So you're being increased right now. Okay? And every time it's Sundays, Bible studies, all the Bible studies you're doing, God desires to increase you. So stay open. Recognize that I'm not just hearing this guy. I'm just looking at me in the natural. I'm just a guy off the street, life, whatever. But I'm in Christ now. Now looking through the eyes of the spirit man, of a spiritual man, a spiritual person like we are. We're growing. We're learning these things. From God desires to mature us from a spiritual baby into a toddler, into what's after a toddler? Wait, the formative years. God desires to take us through the formative years. Okay, like my child back here, he's going through the formative years. Like I have my oldest son, he's 16. Okay, headed to 17. And from this age, they're in the formative years. Why you're in the because this translates to the spiritual now. During the formative years of the spiritual life, God desires to instill in you, give you a new, the renewed mind, the mindset. The mindset that God desires to give us is the mind of Christ, experientially. The mind of Christ, let me tell you, it goes all the way into the subconscious level of your mind. There's already a way, like right now, if somebody comes right now and slaps the hell out of you, without even thinking about it, what would you do? All right. See how beat the brakes off you. That right there is already automatic. That's already in you. God desires to revamp all that. That's the subconscious level of our mind. That's the area where you know that you know that you know that you know that you know. I already know what I would do. Man, slap the hell out of it. There's my God desires to revamp all that. That's what the law of God is for. That's what the law's for. It just so happens when God speaks His law. But either way, that's another dynamic. The law of God is to get into our subconscious level of our mind. The subconscious level helps us stay in the boundary. God gives us grace to learn all this. Okay, so faith come by hearing. You gotta hear first. So this is your first time, so be it. Just take it in as best you can. If you've been hearing me for a little while, I'm connecting some dots here and there, but either way, you gotta hear. Somehow you gotta hear it. You gotta hear it through the words of Christ. The law of God is the boundary of how to operate and navigate down here, okay? So the law, we don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Yeah. The new covenant, the old covenant is